Hello and welcome back to Lobotomy Corporation, and today I will not continue with day 43. Today I will read the descriptions of all the Briah-layer abnormalities. Since we finished all the core suppressions here and this little bit of territory is very safe, so let's read them. Let's put someone here and begin our management. So I will be doing the reading from left to right, doing each segment at a time, like firstly this one, and this one, this one, and this one. So, our first abnormality, which is not our first abnormality that we got on Briah, yet this is one that we are going to see the first, is Theresia, a music box with an impressive sculpture of a dancing ballerina. When wound up, a sad melody begins to play. No one knows when it was made or who made it, but it doesn't seem to be new, judging from the slight skips in the song. There are a few phrases crudely carved on its surface. Do you remember this melody? The professor used to play this song when the students were sleepy. Happy birthday! Listening to this music box will make anyone feel like everything will be okay in the end, lifting their fatigue. However, excessive listening will make one lose grip on reality and be driven mad. So yeah, basically someone made I guess a gift to somebody, and this is a very interesting choice because these music boxes are not a very common gift, so maybe this music box is actually very ancient by the standards of this game at least, and yeah, it has a very interesting effect on people. Basically they're not driven mad because they're afraid, but they just don't understand what is real and what is not. Or maybe it's excessive listening to this music that makes them mad. Like, come on, can you hear it? Oh my god. I would be driven mad if I had to listen to this music for far too long. However, it looks like if this is truly an ancient artifact, maybe from, I don't know, 18th century? Something like that, I would assume. Then it might point that the abnormalities in this universe, at least, are not a new phenomenon, that there were in this world for some time at least, and not even the Lobotomy Corporation holds, I guess, a pattern above abnormalities, because they were before the Lobotomy Corporation was a thing, which is quite interesting. However, not much lore here, because we cannot really explore this abnormality more. Now, let's move on to our third ever Aleph, Blue Star. Abnormality story record. An urgent announcement to all personnel in our company. Lobotomy Corporation supports all club activities that promotes positivity. Recently, however, we have received reports that there are a group activities floating unhealthy schemes. Due to constant allegations, we cannot help but take notice to that matter. It is against the company's rules to idolize and or worship certain abnormalities. Nothing is allowed to be sacred in this place. Which is quite interesting, because I don't remember who told us this thing. I think it was Angela, but she said that these abnormalities are not angels that came to purge us from our sins. These abnormalities are not, I don't know, some alien beings from other worlds, even though there is a clearly one which is an alien being up top, the fragment of the universe thing, but the manifestation of people somehow, that people create them, or if it's not people that create them, it's something from the gaps of the river. But I guess I guess, came from the river, through the gaps, as they say. So, yeah, this is very interesting because it shows that Lobotomy Corporation actually tries to be quite scientific in its work, and tries to prohibit any occult-like activities, even though it might seem that some things that we do here are really occult-like. Okay. Employees that try to enter the containment unit of specific abnormalities without authorization will face punishment, especially if they are not in charge of said abnormalities. Which is interesting because we have Briah. I think it says something the same. If you feel an impulse to throw yourself into a certain abnormality, that means you are infected. It means that it is in the process of manipulating and dazzling your brain, as do other abnormalities in this place. If this happened, please stop whatever you are doing and seek immediate medical treatment. As you have all passed basic employee training, we hope no one will be foolish enough to be misled. We are releasing the blacklist to the public. Those who are on this list must take 3 days of mental treatment provided by the company and will receive punishment accordingly by their respective Sephiroth. We are making this list public to bring your attention to the astonishing number of infected employees around you. Please note, calling Emily, who killed herself after breaking into the containment unit of a certain abnormality, a martyr, will be treated as a non-compliance with the company's rules. On a side note, we would like to praise employee Dylan's courageousness in his rescuing of employee Sophie, who was about to throw herself into a certain abnormality. Very interesting, why they don't even say the name of this abnormality? Certain abnormality. Very weird. Because I know that in some mythologies there is an interesting idea that names give power. Maybe this is the same here? I don't know. If you see any of your valuable colleagues displaying this kind of behavior, please promptly report it to the Sephiroth in charge. Dylan. I don't believe you turned Sophie and us over deliberately. I'm sure you were just worried about Sophie. She locked up now. I heard that she repeatedly tried to escape, so they tied her to the bed. Tell me, is it wrong to have faith? We are all sinners, and our blue star is the only sanctuary that accepts us. We will be cleansed of our sins there. We all go back to that place someday. This is an instinct. You thought Emily died when she threw herself into the blue star, but she simply returned to the rightful place. She is a martyr. She has become an eternal star. The rise of a star is brand new beginning. Don't you hear the everlasting sound of the trumpet? When you stand close to the star, you can hear the welcoming cheers and singing. If every employee returns to that place, only blue star will remain here. Let us meet again as stars. Wow, this is quite sad. Basically, it shows us the actual effect of the abnormalities on people that is happening due to the blue star influence on people. So, as a manager, we just see it as white damage thing, like, okay, their sanity drops, then we recover their sanity through a regenerator. But it is always important to remember that even though these people they're some kind of temporary entity that we summon to deal with the abnormalities, they're still kinda people, they're still kinda human. And they suffer from the human, I guess, traits. And here, someone had faith, and it's kinda hard to part with one's own faith into something. Even though Lobotomy Corporation tries to be scientific and all, well, just look at the angel, what she is saying. I guess there is nothing wrong with having that, but it looks like it's counterproductive to this kind of place. Because it only leads people to ruin. Because they think that this is a savior. That it will somehow cleanse them from their sins. Even though... Is it even true? Maybe it's just a very hungry entity that needs to eat. And the best thing it can do is just to lure it. Even in nature we have some things that lure other things by pretending to be one thing or another. I guess the easiest one is when certain types of plants try to release certain pheromones to trap insects in them. Yeah. So if this kind of thing happens in nature, why shouldn't it happen in abnormalities? Sometimes mind is also a thing that could be exploited. And we are coming again to another white abnormality, the funeral of the dead butterflies. So, where does one go when they die? Where did all employees who work here go? Well, kinda interesting, because we already know where they go. They don't really go anywhere. Or at least we don't really know. Because we don't really know the process by which they're, I guess, being recalled and then reawakened. They must have returned home, to a haven where family and warmth await. The employees cannot leave. Once they join the company, the only way to leave is to resign. Then those resigned employees must have returned home, having earned what they wanted and being full of hope. They are the feathers of the wings. Resignation isn't as simple as you think. Just like how a feather doesn't detach from a wing of its own will. Then, where did all the resigned employees go? They are bound to the company the moment they enter. Very interesting thing that they say. It's actually true. They're somehow bound to the company. Even if they die, they're just reawoken again when the time comes. Even if they do resign, they are doomed to stay here forever. Long ago, in some world, people believed that they would become beautiful beings with small wings when they die. It's still a story, nonsensical too. If you get wings, you will be able to leave this place? Do we get our wings only after we retire? They say the mourner with a huge luggage on his back had come to be a savior to all. Eventually he himself was trapped in this place, and now he wanders the company with only the memory of an empty faith. He is carrying a coffin, a large coffin to pay tribute to the employees who have nowhere else to go. However, it is still too small to comfort those innocent sacrifices. Inside, it is a kaleidoscope of butterflies waiting for the moment to fall asleep. Until then, they flutter their wings uselessly. The wings that may have been jumbled into one, or one split into many. Butterflies are supposed to pollinate flowers, but not a single proper flower blooms in this place. There is no choice but to wait. After all, there must be an end to every world. Huh. Kinda interesting. Basically, this is an abnormality that wandered into the company, and well, it says here got trapped. But I wonder if this abnormality is actually was kinda transferring people from the realm of the living to the realm of the dead. What it actually feels when it kills people here but they don't die. Because we still don't know how employees are created. Maybe they're not clones, but they're actually resurrected in some way or form. And basically this abnormality must feel very awkward here, because its whole existence is just being nullified. That's why I guess it says something about an empty faith. Interesting. Well, yeah, nothing to say about this abnormality. It's very easy to, I guess, let it out because of the mandatory guidelines that require a strict type of abnormal, I guess, employees, not abnormalities. But it's also very easy to suppress, so usually I just, whenever something happened here, I would just let it get out. I would do work here, but then the person would stand here and just fight it. So yeah, nothing to say here, other than that it has, for some reason, more hands than it needs to. Like, why do you have hand at the center of your chest? Is it even practical? I guess it's to repeat the pattern here, but it must be very awkward to sleep in this position. Oh my god. Just imagine your back pains when you try to sleep like that, with all those hands. Like, we are very lucky that we have hands on either side of our torso, but he seems like he has hands on his back and hand on his front. So I guess the only way he can sleep is on the sides? Huh. Okay, let's move on to an old lady. Very simple abnormality, which is very jealous abnormality. Basically, it has a counter of 3, and every time we enter, oh no, 4, a counter of 4. Yeah, you see? And every time we enter containment unit of another abnormality, even the usable one, it just decreases. And when it decreases to 0, the solitude takes this place. I guess this is, well, in some form, it's kinda a parody of what happens in real life with older generation that are kinda left behind. Well, it happens. It not happens everywhere, but it happens sometimes. Well, let's read it. An abnormality taking the form of an old and feeble woman. Anytime someone enters its containment unit, it will talk to that person. What it tells differs from time to time. However, it always comments with "Dearie, dearie, would you like to hear a story?" This story could be a lullaby, an unspecified poem, a nursery rhyme, a common children's story, or something entirely new. It knows every children's story and will not stop recounting until the listener finally leaves. Excerpt from the counseling records. She may be the loneliest of all abnormalities. She is filled with loneliness and tells her tales to fill that void. Well, every story needs a listener. When someone enters her room, she will try to fill that void. Of course, listening to her is a very dangerous thing. She knows every story on Earth, and even though that cannot possibly exist, our minds cannot cope with such a thing. She could fry a brain in an instant. Very interesting. Basically, I guess it is a representation of not just wisdom in general that comes with old age, or can come with old age, but just a collection of memories in general, or collection of stories in general, because I guess it's a common trope that older people tell stories to their grandkids and stuff, and this is kinda a representation that in a form of abnormality. Well, nothing to really say about this one, other than that it's a literal incarnation of real phenomena happening in real life. Well, let's move on to the Central Command Department. And we are going to look at these both layers, even though there are two different segments. I will read to them anyway in this form. So, Mid-Lantern. One of the abnormalities that caused me a few problems when I first encountered it, even though this is very easy abnormality to contain. Okay. It always under the floor of the containment unit, only showing its eyes and mysterious luminous organ above the ground. So yeah, you see, we can see a lot more. I guess it's just a artistic representation, even though we should only see this little organ, as they call it. There is no way to confirm that it looks like in its entirety, as it moves underground, not through the hallway. It is impossible to predict its path when breaching. For the same reason, its escape cannot be detected, except from the voice records. Lloyd, you are located near the information team, right? I've heard that some employees went missing around that area. Would you mind checking to see if there's any abnormalities causing special interference? Oh. What? But there is no such abnormality around here. I don't detect any breaching abnormalities either. Lloyd? Look everywhere. Oh. Well, Lloyd, there is no sign of any abnormality, but I do see a small flower on the ground. Lloyd. What are you on about? What flower? Oh, the bud is glowing. It's amazing. It's strange finding something so green here when we don't even see sunlight. It's so bright. Other employees came over to look at the flower too. You need to come and see it. The light is so bright and warm. I feel like something good is about to happen. Notice that it also does white damage, not red damage. Lloyd, that's not a flower. Order all employees nearby to evacuate immediately. Do not run away in a group. You have to slowly escape one by one with quiet steps. Oh, what are you talking about? I told you there's nothing nearby. Wait, I think I just felt a slight tremor beneath my feet. Is someone fixing the pipes today? Like, screw it. Just enjoy looking at the flower all you want. Yeah, basically, I guess this is a recreation of a certain fish that dwells on the... Oh, I don't remember. Abyssal layer of the ocean? I don't remember the names of these layers, but basically very deep in the ocean. That has a small little lantern, and the thing why it does so, it located so deep that no light penetrates there, and basically if you have some source of light, living beings are getting attracted to it. I guess like moths to a light bulb. And this thing is just an abnormality that is similar in its form and in its function too. Use a small little light that emits some kind of psychic waves that attract people and then eat them. Simple, but I guess powerful. Next one is Merry Christmas one, I guess. Rudolta of the Sleigh. Yeah, Merry Christmas, I see. An old card attached to the abnormality. Merry Christmas! Santa rushed along the night sky to deliver presents to happy kid who don't cry. Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, shined his nose so bright through the fog while tugging along a sleigh full of presents, guiding it along tonight. Every happy kid around the world deserves a present. From afar, the abnormality resembles Santa Claus atop his sleigh. Well, I guess from a far, it does. But upon closer inspection, it is completely different from its description in common folklore. Contrary to the titular character Rudolph, the sleigh drags the reindeer along. Oh, interesting. We have observed the three different portions of the abnormalities separately. Rudolph, an organic entity in color of green, red and white that appears to be a horse or a deer. Its muscles do not seem to move, but many of our saw report movement in the eyes. Some even say that they made eye contact with it. There is a 30 cm diameter hole in its abdomen. ARM employees later reported that the hole was empty. I guess somewhere here? So basically it's like, I don't know what it's like, I don't want to know. Santa, a mysterious transparent organic entity on top of Rudolph. It's full of what seems to be human organs, all of which function normally. Yeah, it really looks like just a transparent sack of blood and organs. You can see the lungs, you can see a heart, you can see a stomach, liver, you can clearly see intestines, and also some kind of spine thing, but it's made of organs? Because it's not a throat, no. Oh my god, why am I looking at it? Let's stop. The Sleigh. The scythe is similar to that of a child. The plating looks like organic skin. And there are white runners attached to the bottom. The accessories of a sleigh are replaced with stiff, severed hands. Unknown objects are carefully wrapped in gifts. Many employees try to open these gifts but fail. Rumor has it that they can only be opened on the Christmas day. Huh? I don't want to open this gift, to be honest. It seemed to move. These three elements are crudely sewn together. Dr. Someone suggested that all three parts may be made from a single body. Whoever made this thing must have had a great hatred for Christmas. Well, that or they never seen Santa Claus. Do you suggest that you've seen Santa Claus? Huh. Yeah, but this thing looks ridiculous. Like, quite so. I don't even know what to say about it other than it moving its eyes in a circular pattern. That's all I'm going to say. Now, I guess one of the first Alephs, I think it was the second one, which is called simply Censored Man by me, but by game it's called Censored. And it's a very interesting abnormality because I had so much trouble actually figuring out how to deal with it, because it has a forced, I guess, panic state. When people enter here, they're supposed to be fine if they're level 5, because Alephs are level 5, and they're supposed to be calm. Yet this abnormality has some kind of hidden mechanic that forces people to panic anyway. And this is why I guess it's centered even to us, because it might make us panic. I bet it's not centered to employees, and they see it in all its glory. However, we as a manager, well, we have an additional cognitive filter, because this is not how, I guess, abnormalities look like. In the game, they explain that, well, Angel explained it in the first few days, yeah, when the cognitive filter failed once. She explained that, well, this is not how the abnormalities actually look, we just make them prettier for you so your sanity is not going to just fall to the bottom immediately. Yeah, and this one, I guess, it's so horrendous that it needs an additional layer of censorship. Any attempts to describe censored will cause severe mental corruption to both the speaker and the listener. Therefore, it's forbidden to record any depictions of the appearance of this censored. All audio and written records should be inspected to ensure that such depictions are deleted from them. All work pertaining to this deletion must be designed to level 5 or higher employees. You see, it mentions or higher, but there are no higher level employees than 5, apart from an interesting thing that I noticed, which is, for example, Honorio. Look at her. She has a star. Like, here's currency. She has a straight, I guess, bandage here, but she has a very nice one. Maybe it should represent the record team symbol. Also has a star, and she is a record team captain. Yeah, this is the only thing that I could even call as higher than level 5 in this game. Like, for example, you, training team captain. Or this person, no, he's not seasoned enough. And these people are too. Yeah. Oh. Nefarious Sleigh. Well, she's not a captain, she is a Nefarious Sleigh. It's in it. But I'm not sure if we are going to get any higher than level 5. Anyway, let's continue. Excerpt from audio record. Randy. It's a shame that we have to send such a capable employee like you to its containment unit. Do you have any last words before proceeding? Of course, when I say last words, it's just precautionary thing. Do you know why it's censored? Because it says here, any written or audio records of the censored should be censored or deleted. And this one became part of the censored, so it should be deleted as well. It can't be helped. I'm the employee with the highest resistance against cognitive breakdown. I've been apathetic towards everything since I was a kid. People often said I lacked empathy and wasn't normal. However, when I got to the work here, my abnormal ability became the key to save everyone. This is something that can never be experienced anywhere else. Randy. Let me say this again. But interestingly enough, Randy is fine. While it is true that you have the highest resistance among employees, that's only based on human standards. If you begin to suffer from a surge of intrusive thoughts, or you decide to count down from 10 but fail to remember what 10 even is, or feel an uncontrollable regurgitation of vomit or saliva, or if this place starts to feel like somewhere else other than the company, or you suddenly feel insignificant and think that suffocating is your only hope, you need to leave the containment unit immediately. Tender, if you tell me that one more time, that will make 13 times you have said that now. Randy, we cannot monitor you in real time. All cameras are off, and your audio record will only be updated after work finished. Oh, interesting. Needless to say, I'm worried about you. Why don't you repeat the instruction I gave you a bit ago? Tender, go in. Don't do work myself, a company employee, censored, and observe the work progress. And record everything that happens. Even if censored is in danger, do not attempt to rescue unless ordered otherwise, right? Exactly, Randy. Now, our contact will cut off in 10 seconds. Good luck and Godspeed to your record. I have no regrets. I would say I'm pretty lucky compared to the others. At the very least, I get to leave my last voice record. Well, I say last, only as a precaution, but... Alright, your record will be eternally archived and all our fellow employees will remember you. 3, 2, 1, end audio receiving. Then, Randy, that looks just like our censored from long ago, doesn't it? Oh, I forgot for a moment that only I can see this. Employee censored who was with me became censored. It looks like it can even breathe. Employee censored who was with me became censored. I'm starting to lose my mind a bit. This is just like the process of censored. I feel a little sick, but I'm good. A small censored came out of an employee. Censored? I can't believe this. Now it's starting to censored employee censored. Employee censored is screaming like censored. The cries. Can you hear them? It reminds me of censored. Sound. Censored. Now I see. This is our censored. This is the reason censored exists. This is the worst thing I've seen in my life. I can't even move. Looks like censored has made me its next target. Soon I'll be censored too. It's getting closer. I'll put the recorder in my censored. I hope this record will help anyone. Adieu, Katso. Even after we adopted the cognition filter, many of our managers have lost their minds. Half of them gone because of censored. Even if we raise the cognition filter to its maximum setting, at the risk of having our employees and other abnormalities being perceived as extremely simple objects, the managers will still be driven insane as soon as this abnormality comes in sight. We can make our manager blind just because of one abnormality. We are stuck in a dilemma. The only solution we could come up with was the suggestion of one of our employees. It was to cover the abnormality with a giant set of censored and blurring. If a flaw in the system disables the censoring covering the abnormality, we will once again have to sincerely consider how to dispose of the manager. Oh my god. Yeah, basically this one is the line that was when I chose this abnormality the first time. I clearly remember this thing. But this is interesting because it looks like cognitive filter is not replacing I guess how abnormalities look like, but it only augments the vision, augments how they look like. And this is still quite enough for the censored to be hostile or effective. Very interesting. Even though you would think that this is the same as a cognitive filter because we are applying just, I don't know, censored bars on top of it. Yet it somehow works. I guess this is one of the abnormalities that has such a strong psychic ability that just a mere imitation of it is enough to cause some pain in people. Interesting. And I wonder, when employees enter here, they must see the abnormality itself. Yeah, they must see it. Because they don't use cognitive filters here. It's only for the manager. So yeah, this thing is just something else. But also, reading this text, it's something else too. Sorry. Because if you read censored long enough, you start thinking weird things in your brain. Really. Maybe some naughty things too. Okay. Let's move on to the Queen of Hatred. So, a humanoid abnormality that looks like it would go and fight villains for peace and justice at any moment. It is friendly towards every employee and is able to engage in casual conversations. It believes that it is a hero born to save the world and takes considerable pride in it. When it shows signs of anxiety or doubt while conversing with employees, its appearance and personality will undergo an adverse change within 4 days. Or 5 seconds, I guess. And will display symptoms of dissociative disorder. Sorry. Wrong S from wrong language. The definition of good and evil are fixed in its mind. Some assume that when the abnormality's beliefs lead to a horrible doubt about the existence of evil, it will choose to become evil to negate the doubt. Huh? Interesting. All parameters will return to normal after the negative phase passes. and the abnormality will have no memory of the behavior it exhibited during that phase. Audio log 1. Employee. How are you feeling today, Magical Girl? Or the Queen of Hate? Good. The world is at peace, and it's quiet around here. Peace is a great thing to have. It means there aren't any villains around, right? Audio log 2. Employee. You are looking a bit down today, Magical Girl. Still fine. The world is peaceful and the abnormality fell silent and did not wish to continue speaking. Omitted. Omitted what? What did you omit? Didn't you say that it fell silent and stopped speaking? Audio log 3. Employee, are you alright? Magical Girl. Why is it still so peaceful? You see, the whole purpose of my life is to defeat villains. It's as if the world is trying to say it doesn't need me. Really, why is it so peaceful? Oh, did I mention that I'm a magical girl? To keep the world's peace, I was born? But today, it's quiet today. The abnormality continued to murmur incomprehensible words to itself. Audio log 4. The abnormality endlessly mumbles to itself, without even noticing the employee in its containment. Magical Girl. The world can be divided into good and evil. I'm on the side of justice. If I'm on the side of good, then someone has to be on the side of evil. Without someone to play the villains, I cannot exist. Then, who is going to protect the world? Audio log cuts off. Audio log 5. Level 3 or above access is required. This is part of an audio record obtained during the rampage of the date redact. The abnormality used a radio installed in the facility to call the emergency planning team. What? Continuous sobbing. Employee. This is an emergency planning team. Please identify yourself. I think I did this. I couldn't stop myself. It's my fault. I ruined everything. I betrayed the people who were kind to me. I don't remember why I did this. Employee. Could you elaborate on what happened? I don't know. They aren't moving. There's so much blood. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Omitted. 3 bodies were found in the abnormalities containment unit. The abnormalities lost all memory of the incident afterwards. This is not how it works. Come on. Like it says here that basically she rampaged in a dragon form, killed them, and somehow returned back to a normal form, even though in the real game it just rampages forever until it dies. Pretty weird stuff, but it also shows us that not all abnormalities lose their humanoid form when they are born from humans, because she, I guess, retains the most of her human part. Yeah, pretty weird. And it also shows that, well, basically in literature there are 2 types of magic, soft and hard magic. Hard magic is very easily explainable, and soft magic is something that, well, just works. You cannot really explain it very easily. And I guess in this world we have a kind of soft magic system, because you see, abnormality can be a totally humanoid, totally sane person that can converse and that can have human-like issues, or it could be a thing from the 3rd dimension, or Santa Claus. Yeah. And see, she is even speaking. Not that many abnormalities actually can speak, which is quite weird. But also, tell me if anything bad happens, okay? It also kinda shows that what is the definition of an abnormality? Is there any definition of the abnormality? Because are several abnormalities in this facility, they can do some really crazy stuff. Like, for example, Red Meats that we subdued in the last episode. She was kinda crazy. And she is supposed to be a robot filled with human beats. When we worked with Chest, somehow he started pouring rain everywhere that increased damage of specific types. So are they abnormalities? It's quite interesting because maybe she's a human actually, not an abnormality. Okay, let's move on to something else. Yeah, you're very annoying. Like, there are a few abnormalities in this place that actually do sounds. Like, for example, nothing there, king of greed. This thing only does when you interact with it. The doll also. This thing does very nice music when you perform. Who else? Not you. Someone else. She, yeah, I remember her. Very annoying sound every time. And this one. Is it supposed to be sound of crystals or something? Because I don't really know what it's supposed to be. But also, on this part, you can see the mouth of the king of greed. Okay, let's see. The first bit of humanity's desire started with the bite of a sweet apple. We have been banished from Eden for that sin. Now we are standing inside a vast orchard. My basket is so large, all the fruits of the world can't make it full. But it's so bad to lust for the honey when there are flowers. After all, we are born to pursue happiness. Kinda weird that it's touching upon Abrahamic religions. Specifically, happiness became obsession, obsession became greed, and the greed forever solidified to become a golden ember. The happiness in the beginning, still holding a smile, dwells inside. Okay. The first seed of desire originated from the pure yearning for happiness. The tiny seed grew larger and larger, hungering for more. Over time the seed hardened and turned into a piece of shiny gem. Enticed by its sheen, a starving fish swallowed it, but it's only made the fish even hungrier. The desire of people usually go unfulfilled. Many desires are abandoned, but they are not completely gone. They hide deep in the subconscious, lurking at the bottom of the lake, ready to spring up at any moment. However, the yearning for happiness may also rear in its head from time to time, darting its tongue like a snake. As soon as a tiny piece of bait falls into the river, the hungry fish will come and snatch it at an instant. We dilute ourselves to be highly rational beings who are in full control of these things, but it's such a preposterous belief. It's laughable. We don't have as much control over ourselves as we believe. The magical girl who was no longer a magical girl ate many things. Her? Authority, money, fame, and many other forms of pleasure. She ended up eating away anything in her sight. Now, only visceral greed remains. Someone's diary. Many people have secretly wished for a hero. They say there once was someone called soul therapy. Something called soul therapy. What does it feel to have an ill soul? We are all healthy, but maybe all of this is a tragic illusion. Once there were people who tried to change the world. We all remember them. We remember how they met their downfall. Desires. I know of desires that ruin all things. We no longer believe in something, nor do we entertain a hope for a miracle, nor do I want to go deaf listening to this thing. I need to change any My right ear is bleeding at this point. We no longer believe in something, nor do we entertain a hope for a miracle. We don't think too much about why they have changed, and we don't blame them, for we have realized that endless desires bring despair. I sometimes feel a terrible dejection, but I do not know where the pain comes from. Many people have secretly wished for a hero. Deep is the sorrow of the world. Greed, deeper still than agony. Sadness says, "Be gone, pass away." But greed seeks eternity, seeks deep, deep eternity. Quite a poetic little abnormality. Basically, almost no information about what it is other than fish ate gem, became gem, and gem still has a soul of a magical girl. Yet, I guess it's just all about the concept of greed. It says here that this is basically just a manifestation of greed. Well, nothing to say other than my head hurts, so I will just move on. Portrait of another world. As time passes, people change. We may become disabled, lose our minds, be consumed by overwhelming violence, or be willed to disappear, never seen again. The portrait encaptures a moment. It is what we are destined to lose. Those who see their healthy self will subconsciously begin craving. If life could always be like that, if only I could always have a bright smile just like in that portrait. One will... Come on, stop. I'm so far away from you. One will begin to feel strange. One will be unharmed by any shape or form of attack. However, others will bear the pain instead. Little by little, the portrait turns uglier and uglier. Eventually, one will stop viewing the portrait and simply enjoy their unexpected luck. Huh? However, no miracle lasts forever. When all those that bear one's pain perish, it is their turn to die. Once the person who thought themselves to be the luckiest person in the world meets their demise, the portrait turns back once again, blank. Not back. Well, I guess it turns back to its original form, I can say, but it's not what I actually read. So yeah, very interesting thing. Again, it kinda encapsulates a human desire to always stay the same, the way we are, and basically it not encapsulate, but I guess, well, it is encapsulating the fear of the future, fear of the not just change, but the negative change that may come in future. Like we don't become younger, we always grow older, and at some point, even if we continue improving, something inside us deteriorates always, even on the mental level. And I guess it is the thing that tries to feed on this emotion, basically encapsulating a certain moment of a person's life, trying to preserve it as best as it possibly can. But it is kinda interesting that in doing so it actually harms others. Why is that? Why is it harms others in order to preserve another person? Original person, I guess, on the picture. Why is that? That one I don't really understand. Okay. Moving on to... You've got a voicemail? Mr. Nothing there. An abnormality whose appearance resembles a human, but cannot and should not be human. It periodically devours employees and wears their shell. The skeleton and organs are misplaced during the process, so it takes a bizarre form. The abnormality does not have a tongue, however... Then what it is? Does not have a tongue, however it has no... The abnormality does have a tongue. I guess it helps to read properly things, or see things at least. However, it has no knowledge of speech and as such cannot talk. It can only make meaningless sounds. Well, I guess parrots also cannot talk, but they can repeat our words. They can remember phrases, and they can actually respond to some of the phrases. And I think corvids are actually even smarter than parrots in this little thing. They actually can, some of them can repeat human sentences and words and understand their meaning, as well as some types of parrots. Not all of them, of course. Not all parrots are good at this thing. There are certain kinds of parrots and corvids. There is no telling what is inside its shell, but its skin continuously wears down, so there is a need to change and maintain outer layer. It is insensible to pain. It may break its own bones or cut itself up to escape through a small crevice. Bit by bit, we discover that this abnormality may be evolving. It demonstrates behavior similar to the character of a person who used to be its shell. It even makes attempts to equate itself with human beings. When it escapes, it wears the skin of a person it killed and mimics them. Then, without any sign or forewarning, it reveals its true second form. In its true second form, its resemblance is much similar to that of a humanoid in comparison to its earlier form. The new form is confirmed to possess bipedalism, properly aligned organs, and the addition of a greater physical strength. All the employees are afraid of this form. Very interesting. Basically, it kinda plays itself dumb, tries to fool you into believing that it's actually very easy to kill and very easy to subdue, when in reality it's actually a lot more capable. A warning of something. If it has been confirmed that it has escaped and stood on 2 feet, there is only one thing you can do. Straighten up your posture, gather your hands neatly, and pray to whatever you believe in and observe the situation as it unfolds. Excerpt from the counseling clock. Just like how we observe abnormalities as employees, we observe abnormalities as employees. What? Oh, I understand. Sorry. That means it tries to say that just like employees observe abnormalities, nothing there observes us. Yeah. It took me a while. Then it puts on the shell of an employee and thinks of itself as an employee that just died. The sight of that thing eating one of us is horrifying beyond words. Just trying to think about it might drive me mad. Heading to its containment to check the same state of its shell is a toil on your mind too. Imagine that a colleague of yours who you chatted with just a few days ago is now sitting in that room, neck snapped, guts exposed, walking on all fours, drooling like a beast, omitted. That's not all. When I was still a new employee, no one else was willing to enter the containment unit, so I was forced to go and work with it. It looked even worse than it does now. It was in the shape of a horribly deformed human. What's worse, it tried to mimic humans. doing stuff like looking into a mirror, mumbling to itself, or trying to fix its skeletal structure. It is as if it was trying to mimic us. Who knows, it might get good enough to casually walk among us one day. Sus. Warning, only employees level 3 or higher are permitted to read this document. The recording of a call from the containment unit's emergency phone. Phone systems are installed in every room of abnormalities of risk level he or higher to enable quick threat response. Employee 1. Please pick me up. Please pick me up. This is the containment unit of Nothing There. The Emergency Response Department, ERD. Hello, this is the Emergency Response Team. What's your problem? Employee 1. I need a stun gun right now. There is an emergency happening right now. ERD. Can you please specify the reason? Employee 1. The abnormality. The sound of something breaking can be heard. It's ripping apart the employees. ERD. Excuse me? Employee 1. It's killing my colleague. ERD. Will respond immediately. Please identify the employee being attacked. Employee 1. It's wait 1 second. Their name is redacted. Control team. I am redacted. Also control team. ERD. Confirm. What's currently happening to your colleague at this exact moment? Employee 1. Yeah, just please hurry. We need a weapon to control the abnormality. A loud noise can be heard, presumably the screams of the colleague. Oh god, this is... ERD, what's happening? Employee 1. The abnormality is attacking my colleague. It's literally ripping them apart. I can't do anything. I repeat, we need a weapon to control the abnormality. ERD. The emergency response team has been dispatched. They'll arrive shortly. Omitted. ERD. I guess after some time. Redacted. What's happening now? Is it still attacking your colleague? Employee 1. Yeah, oh, no, I think it's done now. ERD. Has it stopped attacking? Employee 1. No, I mean, my colleague is dead. He is dead. Yeah, he is dead, alright. ERD. How can you be so sure? Employee 1. Well, it's because he is... ERD. Has he been ripped apart somehow? Or its body parts are damaged? Employee 1. All of them. That's one sturdy employee, to be honest. Or it might be the Nothing There talking to on a phone to ERD, but it said here that it's not sentient enough to have a understanding of speech. So yeah. This employee is quite strong, mentally speaking, except from the counseling log. Just like how we observe abnormalities as employees, Nothing There observes us. Then it puts on the shell. What? Observe us. Then puts on the shell of an employee and thinks of itself as an employee that just died. It mimics the employee's usual behavior, the way they talk, likes and dislikes, and every other visible trait. We can only guess how carefully and for how long it has been observing the employees to imitate them. What I'm trying to say is, we can't just treat it like some dumb scary monster. Yes, exactly, like I said. Even now, it could be strolling about wearing the shell of someone we know. This abnormality is becoming more and more like a human. Its transformation is getting faster too. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. If the time comes when we fail to recognize it, that will be the day the company falls. We must stay ever vigilant, even when dealing with this abnormality. Yeah. The following is a recording of the abnormal behavior an employee exhibits in their last moments after they became a shell of Nothing There. Employee 1. Manager. Employee 2. Man, you've been looking for the manager for quite a while now. You've been acting really weird today, you know? With that weird smile and all. Employee 1. Employee 2. Anyhow, I'm sure hope we get past in the cafeteria for dinner today. I lost some of that with thick bacon. This makes me think. Because clearly this employee 1 is... how to say? Is Nothing There. and tries to get to the manager. And we had this little episode when a certain person tried to break into the manager's office. I wonder, was that nothing there? Again, employee 1 is silent. Employee 2. Oh, we just got an emergency notice. It says the last employee to work with nothing there should get to the counseling office immediately. Employee 1. Employee 2. Wait, wasn't that you? Employee 1. Hey, say something. Employee 1. Manager, manager, manager. The second employee proceeded to take immediate action upon hearing that, but nothing there tore out of the shell of the first employee, revealing its beginning form. The recording only includes audio files, so what exactly happened or what kind of behavior the employee exhibited still remains a mystery. The shell with nothing there inside tries its best to mimic the behavior of the employee it tried to kill moments ago. The action of the last employee it eyed, their final words, those sort of things. And many shells cried out one word, manager. Which is kinda interesting. Why is an abnormality specifically targets the manager? Also, this abnormality heavily reminds me, how is it called? The Thing? Basically a film where a group of scientists are on a polar base and they are attacked by some shape-shifting monstrosity. And they fight it with a flamethrower at the end, I think. Yeah, and... Yeah, it kinda resembles a dog too. Quite interesting, but yeah. Very interesting abnormality, because it also shows us that some abnormalities are actually aware about our existence as a manager. Well, of course, we have this abnormality, Schadenfreude, but it was more like a phenomena of Schadenfreude. While in this case, this abnormality is conscious enough to seek us out. Or maybe it ate so many employees, and all employees know that only the manager has some power in this place to change things. That's why we had that little episode where an employee was begging us to kinda do something about it, and Malkuth subdued that person. And maybe it ate so many employees that it kinda figured out that it needs to seek out a manager for some reason. Because maybe it's not actually conscious, it's just mimicking consciousness. Yeah. Now, a very interesting thing, a backwards clock. Let me read it first. The abnormality was created with the idea of Tumblebug Baker, an old clock manufactured by an unknown company. Its vacuum tubes give off a vintage vibe. The manufacturer stopped making this kind of clocks a long time ago. Is your future totally grim? Have you hit absolute rock bottom? Not a single way out of inside? Have you ever thought, oh man, what if I done that instead of this? Humanity has conquered disease and nature. Now we have come far enough to harness time itself. Yes, we can rewind your wasted time. Just wind it up, close your eyes, and count to 10. When you open them, you'll be standing at the exact moment you wish to be in. Plus, please read the manual thoroughly. You never know what the extremely high voltage discharge from the machinery could do if handled poorly. We are not responsible for any accidents may occur from user error or carelessness. The clock requires a high amount of energy to operate. Please understand that it will take a considerable amount of time to charge. Yeah, basically this is a clock that can turn back time, and this is kind of proves that basically employees are not clones, but maybe there are some temporal phenomena. Because, well, temporal phenomena actually exist. Well, they actually exist. Come on. Temporal phenomena actually exist in this universe. So, yeah, this is one of them. because it can rewind time. And the function of this clock is kinda interesting because basically employee winds it up and then it disappears when it finally winds it up like fully. But it's not like that employee disappears, it just moves into a different timeline. Or maybe it stays in that timeline but gets cut off from this one. That's why it seems like that employee disappears, when in fact it's we who disappeared, maybe? I'm not sure. But also there is something I want to test, I guess. Only level employees under 5 should not handle the clock. Well, it's not like I have an employee under 5, do I? I do. Well, I guess I'll order a few users. Now, an interesting abnormality. A Burrowing Heaven. Yet another abnormality that is aware about the manager. A thorny abnormality that feeds on the gaze of others and sometimes stretches its wings. Don't look away, just keep your eyes on it. It lives inside your gaze. The containment is but a facade. It contain it in your sight. Blinking is okay. It will tolerate such a brief moment of disruption. However, once it recognizes that it lost your attention and focus, it will spread its wings. Yes, wings, not trees. As if to praise a long-forgotten god, its lean, bloody wings will stretch and cover the whole corridor. The wings still bear fruit, using fresh corpses as food. If it still fails to gain your attention, the stalks will pierce the facility and grow towards a sunny spot. Like an angel, its wings will reach the skies and extend towards the ground, eventually blocking the sun out. But there is still hope. When you finally turn your eyes and bring it within your cognizance, it will return to its deep, dark, subterranean area. That is, if you manage to survive by then. That's what a gaze is. Attention, an invisible string that connects us, sole focus. Do not come here, as there is no place for you to rest. Is this what you wanted to see? When your tears dry up, at last, tell me your answer. My answer is I don't understand what you're talking about. That's why it's called a Burrowing Heaven, because I guess it tries to capture... Well, why is it that only it tries to capture my attention only? Why other employees are not good for you? Are you only trying to capture the attention of a very significant people? Or what? You're very judgmental abnormality, are you? Very interesting. And it also says here, it lives inside your gaze. The containment is but a facade. Basically, it says here that it cannot be contained. The only way it's contained is just, I guess, by that cliff called the Torrance Field. And it needs to be lowered when an employee works with this abnormality. So basically, whenever I don't look at it, it just escapes to grab my attention. And it initiates all this bloodshed just to get my attention. Have a very interesting, I guess, idea of being a prosocial. A bomb shelter that completely protects its interior from all hazardous influences of outside world, including light. The shelter retains the memory of that day. Company P wished to construct the safest place on Earth. P? Did we encounter the Company P? We encountered Company L, which is us, Company R, which is rabbits, Company W, which is we don't know. Company P? I don't remember. Company P. As such, the interior of this shelter houses a large number of non-perishable goods, which would allow anyone who stayed inside to survive for an extremely long period of time. Thanks to this shelter, the selected refugees were safely shielded from the ocean of endless crime and bloodshed. However, this shelter while perfectly safe on inside, alters reality of the outside to be even more hopeless. It literally makes itself into the safest place on Earth. And you see, this is logo of the company P, like here. This is our logo, the company L, and this one is P. What can I see on it? Can I see something? It's just a blue P with some lines and stripes. To be honest, it doesn't resemble anything in particular, but it shows that abnormalities can be created not only by just a mere circumstance, but also created artificially. And this is an artificial abnormality. And probably this company P somehow used the same technology that we used to draw power from the abnormalities. A02, A01. Well, to be honest, I don't know. Shelter from the 27th of March. Well, there is nothing much to be said about here, other than that we can see a logo of some company, and it looks very unremarkable, to be honest. Please charge. The Night of Despair. An abnormality of despair that has gone through a repeated cycle of faith and betrayal, leaving only the emotion that is expected through a black tears. Expressed. A hero of the past who used to be a guardian of justice. She dedicated her entire life to protect the king, the state, the city, and the weak. The knight had to uphold the law of God and the pursuit of valor, chivalry, and justice. However, after a long history fraught with hardship and conflict, the knight realized in retrospect that nothing was truly upheld on her watch. The truth changed a lot of people. Huh? Okay. One who fought for good became evil upon realizing that there was no evil left in the world. One who dreamed of a world where everyone could be happy was tingled with greed and started to devour everything. Like them, so many things once thought to be forever constant faced change and perished. Who said a night never cries? Have you ever seen tears brought out by despair, nor sadness? The endless stream of grief has long turned the eye sockets into hollow husks. Inside, black diamonds sometimes fall down like ashes. The will to protect seems to remain unchanged after all this time. Even in containment, it's still obsessed with the fact of a protection. All that remains is the hollow pride of a weathered knight, the tenacity of a hero who cannot leave the past behind in a pitiful sight. When justice turns its back once more, several dozen blades will rove without a purpose, in shame of failing to defend once again, and in rage against the world. The sword will eventually point at those she could not protect. The knight who wanted to redeem herself by saving others was now dishonorably called the Knight of Despair, forgotten from the people's memory, just like the others. Well, there are two things to be said. First, it looks like a medieval story, because it says here, Knight of Justice, a king, state, city, protect the weak. But who said that in this dystopian future they don't have a king? They definitely have a state and a city, and they definitely have weak people. So maybe it's quite a recent abnormality. We cannot really say anything about it. So yeah. And the second thing is, One who fought for good became evil upon realizing that there was no evil left in the world. Again, the same story as with the magical girl. Yeah, it's so peaceful. Oh no, maybe it's not good that it's peaceful because it's so peaceful because the world hates me or something. And again here. I don't know. There's some line of thought but I don't fully grasp here. Like what is she trying to even tell me by that? Why she became evil when there was nothing left in the world? Are they trying to say that basically she became the symbol of tyranny? Or what? Interesting, but I don't really understand this one. Well, let's move on to their Freischütz. The devil ultimately wished for despair. Well, here you are. For despair wears down the mind and drains one's will to go forward. When one feels there is nothing left to go for, their soul falls down to hell. The devil's domain. This is why the devil finds it more entertaining to watch people fall to despair, rather than to simply kill them. He described it as selling one's soul to the devil. When a marksman received a gun from the devil proposed a childish contract. The last bullet would puncture the head of his beloved. The moment he heard that, he sowed and shot all the people he loved. Then he told the devil, "This magical bullet can truly hit anyone, just like you say." With the last bullet gone for good, the hunter traveled to numerous worlds. Sometimes he helped worlds, those in need or fought evil, but it was all done on impulse, not gesture of goodwills or ideas. In one world, he was called a righteous hunter, while in another, he was a bloodstained gunman. One day, the marksman realized devil no longer followed him. He pondered why, then he realized that his soul had already fallen to hell from the beginning. The contract had already been fulfilled, so the devil had left. The marksman, now a devil himself, continues to pull the trigger to gather the soul for others, just as the devil said, "The bullets will puncture anything you please, forever." Wow. This is quite an interesting story, to be honest. One of deception, but also it says worlds. Does it mean we are not on Earth? Does it mean we like on another planet? Or this world has some interdimensional travel thing? It's not ridiculous to assume that because they have some kind of magic river that trips through the gaps and create abnormalities. So this one might be possible. They also have some kind of teleportation, which is not really teleportation. And Angela mentioned that another company, that is our rival, somehow generates energy from beings from hell. So, yeah. I guess this might be not Earth, actually, but some different world. We don't know. But also, very interesting thing, basically, he just became not just a devil, but I guess a demon, if you think about it. Because the devil said that the last bullet will... Yeah, the last bullet would puncture the head of his beloved. And he killed all people he loved. At this point well, at first he contractually sold his soul, but at this point he figuratively sold his soul. because he kinda lost himself as a human, and that's why he became a devil. Interesting. But it also shows us that not all abnormalities come from the well, I guess. Well, we had this abnormality, like the fragment of the universe. At least in the description it says that it comes from some distant part of the universe. But this one, maybe it comes from a different dimension. And it's not really crazy to say that maybe that river that we are drawing stuff from, well, that river might exist in other dimensions, other so-called worlds. Huh. Well, anyway, here's a level 4 employee. Let's try it. I never done it. I don't know what will happen. So, level 4 employee. Turn the clock. My whole team is annihilated. Make sure to remember their faces and their stories. A new employee shall come and replace a new, now diseased currency. The cycle continues. What? Hello? Innovated escaped? Just because a lot of employees died? This thing escaped because a lot of employees went insane? Oh my god, even killed clerks. And you're perfectly fine. Just look on her smile. It's not my problem, I'm fine. Well, that is what happens when you mess with a high voltage. I guess it kills and just makes everyone insane but you. Oh my god, she's so happy. This is just like, I don't know, this is a small scene where a devil with a fork tortures a human. She's calm. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little reading of all Briah-layer employees. Huh? What happens? Oh, a little spoiler for you. Yeah, I guess. Because this abnormality broke out. And now we have alert. And now we don't have alert. And this abnormality is stuck. Well, I'm not going to spoil myself. So, I hope you enjoyed this little reading of all Briah-layer abnormalities. And yeah, not much lore details here, because in this one we learned about outskirts, the city and the outskirts, and that there's a struggle. Here we learned that there are actually other beings in the universe that exist. We learned some things from the Asia level. However, here, yeah, also we learned that, well, abnormalities can be created by the humans or by their actions. That items can kind of become abnormalities. But here, yeah, not much. We didn't learn much. We learned almost nothing, to be honest, from this little exploration. Other than that, nothing there seems to know about us. And it knows too much, I guess. And we seems to learn that other world exists. That there is some kind of hell dimension. And I guess if there is something like a soul here in this universe, it can actually travel between worlds. but physical matter. Company W? Well, I'm out. Good luck.